All right, today we're going to be talking about and working with what is called direct variation. And direct variation is a function that can be written y is equal to k times x, or y divided by x is equal to k, where k is a constant. Constant meaning it doesn't change. Okay? You're going to be asked today to determine whether y varies directly with x. If you're asked to determine whether y varies directly with x, and then you're given a table of values, and let's say that your table of values has 1, 3, 4 as your input, 2, 4, 6 as your output, and this is the question: determine whether y varies directly with x. If y varies directly with x, then y divided by x will equal the same thing every time. Okay? So does, or let's do this. We've got a input of 1 and an output of 2. So we're going to take y and we're going to divide it by x, and we're going to see what it equals. So what's 2 divided by 1 equal? 2 divided by 1, 2 divided by 1 is equal to 2, isn't it? Now, 4 divided by 3. Does it equal 2? 4 divided by 3 equals 1.3. So look, if y divided by x doesn't equal the same thing every time, then they don't vary directly. So in this case, we would say no. Constant is different. Or constant is not the same. Very simple. If you're given a table of values and you're asked if they varied directly, divide the y by its corresponding x, and if the quotient is the same every time, then they do vary directly. If it's not, well, then they don't. So let's take another table of values. Same question. Now we've got an x and a y. And we've got an input of 1, output 4, input 2, output 8, input 3, output 12. All right, so we start dividing the y's by the x's. And we take 4, we divide it by 1, we get 4. We take 8, we divide it by 2, we get. We take 12, divide it by 3, we get So does y vary directly with x? Yes. K is equal to 4, our constant. All right? When we divide y by x, we get the same thing every time. Everybody okay with that? I'll take that as a yes. All right. In the second part of your assignment, you're going to be asked to determine, again, determine whether y varies directly with x. If so, what is the constant? All right, so first question is 3y equals 7x. All right, they're asking you if y varies directly with x. Well, if we take each side of this equation and we divide it by 3, the 3's on the left cancel, and we get y is equal to 7/3 x. So our constant, or our k, first of all, determine whether y varies directly with x. In this case, we're going to say yes, because we can write this in the form y equals k times x. And we're going to say k is equal to 7/3. All right. Direct variation, you can write equations two ways. You can write y equals k times x, or you can write y divided by x is equal to k. If you can write an equation in this form or this form, then they vary directly. If you can't, well, then they don't. So let's take a look at an example of when they don't. We got 7y is equal to 14x plus 7. We're asked if y varies directly with x. Well, let's divide both sides by 7. The 7's cancel, and our y is equal to 2x plus 1. Now, you just ask yourself, is this equation written in this form or this form? It's not, is it? Y is equal to a constant times x, but then you're adding 1 to it. Okay? Neither of these equations up here, neither of these examples of direct variation have anything added to or subtracted from the right side of the equation. So in this case, no. They don't vary directly. Let's look at one more. 5x plus 3y equals 0. If we were to subtract 5x from each side here, we would get 3y is equal to negative 5x. If we divide both sides by negative 5, I'm sorry, divide both sides by 3. Trying to get the y by itself. Divide both sides by 3. These 3's cancel, and we get a y that's equal to negative 5/3 x. In this example, does y vary directly with x? It does, doesn't it? All right, it's written in this form right here. It's written in the form y equals a constant times x. So this is yes. And our k is equal to negative 5/3. The third type of problem that you're going to see today you'll be told y varies directly with x. If y equals 4 when x equals negative 2, find x when y equals 6. You can do this by writing a proportion. All right, if you're told that y varies directly with x, then y divided by x is going to be the same thing every time. Okay, y divided by x is going to equal 4 divided by negative 2. And that's going to be equal to, where the y's are in the numerator, we're going to put the 6, and we're going to solve for the x. So if we take this proportion right here and just crisscross multiply, we're going to get 4 times x is equal to negative 2 times 6 is negative 12. Going to divide each side by 4. And our x is going to be equal to negative 3. So if y equals 4 when x equals negative 2, x is equal to negative 3 when y is equal to 6. What's the constant there? Y divided by x. What's your 4 divided by negative 2? Isn't that negative 2? What's 6 divided by negative 3? Negative 2. All right, so our constant in this case is the negative 2. Let's do this same problem. If y equals 25, if y equals 25 when x equals 10, find y. When x is equal to 5. So we're going to write a proportion. Y divided by X is equal to the first Y given, which is 25, when X equals 10. And that's equal to, now we're trying to find Y. So we put a Y in the numerator when X is equal to 5. And we crisscross multiply. So 10 times Y is 10Y. 25 times 5 is 125. And then divide both sides by 10. So our Y equals, what's that, 12.5? 12.5. Anybody need to see another one of any of those examples? Yes? No. Your constant will change on almost each problem. All right, so then your practice for today is going to be on page 71, problems 7 through 23. And I'll put those up here for you in just a second.